Are you in the APC? We know you have left Labour Party, or you are on your way to the APC, which seems to be the trend, because you have said no single candidate can remove President Tinubu. So my assumption is that very soon we hear that you are also firmly in the APC. This is the season of defections. What do you think about this current up and down in Nigerian politics?
Appetite for material things and other self-centered desires perverts holders of office. Apart from sapping our energy, draining our life and enthusiasm, there is nothing else that this government has achieved for Nigeria. And then contemplating that me, that entered politics for the welfare of the people, shall join an APC that is insensitive to the people's welfare, that has punished Nigerians with hunger and hardship. The World Bank report now said that Nigeria will sink further into poverty till 2027. That in Tinubu's regime, there is no hope for recovery from poverty. And they gave their reasons: structural economic weaknesses, dependence on oil revenue, national fragility. In other words, national conflicts. Look at what's happening in Plateau State. More than 100 persons have died, massacred by unknown people. And the president was in Paris and could not even cut his travel short to commiserate with people from Plateau State. Look at what's happening in Rivers State. A president declared martial law and removed constitutionally elected representatives of the people. And look at what's happening in Benue State. People dying. All the things this president has given Nigeria is tears and blood. And you want to say Kenneth Okonkwo will contemplate going into such an association? I tell you what Dove said, man, said. He said toxic leaders are energy vampires, draining life and enthusiasm out of the people they lead. You want my life and enthusiasm to be drained? No. I reject APC as presently constituted, as a party that does not live up to its promise, as a party that has inflicted Nigeria with hunger and hardship, as a party that does not recognize our diversity, as a party that has given us nothing except tears and blood. A land that God created to flow with oil, with wealth, with gold, is now flowing with tears and blood. Count me out of that unholy association. For now, I am a member of the coalition. And we are moving in that direction to solidify the unity amongst all the opposition forces to take out this government that, according to Senator Ndume, is a government of kakistocrats and kleptocrats, the government of worst of us, and the government of desperate thieves. Let me tell you, they are relying that they will write results. People going into APC is because they want to come under self-preservation of writing results. That's why I said, if you separate man from law and justice, he will become the most savage of beasts. Without it, Tinubu is already gone.
Thank you very much.
And we will fight, everybody should fight, that the will of Nigeria should be secured when they go to vote in 2027. And Tinubu will be out.
Thank you.
So let me ask you one of the questions, or one of the statements that Kenneth Okonkwo made. What has this government done for Nigeria? Instead of us talking about our bread and butter issue, how we feed our two children, how we pay for their school fees, we're talking about defections. He says our government has turned Nigeria into a country flowing with blood and tears. But this Bola Tinubu's government is a government of desperate thieves. And he says we're being led by the worst of us. How do you argue against those statements? How do you say that's wrong, that's not true? The question is, what has this government done for you? What has the APC government done for Nigeria? As a people, we should be independent in our thinking when we vote for politicians, because our politicians have no ideology. The only ideology they have is an ideology of self-preservation, how they preserve themselves in power. Nothing else. So how, as a people, would you say you're supporting an APC party, PDP party, or your party member when they don't have any ideology? There's a whole lot is said here, including the World Bank's report of Nigeria. The forecast is gloomy. Nigeria is in a case where you call a multidimensional level of poverty. But let's break this thing down, Well, make sure you watch this to the end and contribute in the comment section. But if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do so. We're in a level where, when we look at this particular government, it is indeed true that we're being led by the worst of us. When you look at this particular government, you obviously know that Nigeria is actually flowing with blood and tears. Blood and tears, the people that died in their village, being killed by terrorists and bandits, and the government did not move. Families crying every day and wailing because they've lost loved ones. In some cases, an entire family wiped out. But the president of the nation was in France for 19 days. 19 days. Issued a statement, came back to Nigeria 19 days later, but never visited those places. Never commiserated with the people there. The vice president was a no-show. The Senate president was a no-show. The Inspector General of Police went to the capital of the state, never even visited the place where these incidents happened. The National Security Advisor, oh my God, we are being led by the worst of us, whose only desire is a greed for power. For them to stay in power. That's why you see all those defections happening. Not because they love Nigeria, not because they want to align themselves with center so that to bring improvement and advancement for the state. No. What they're doing basically is their self-preservation. Every move they make is a move to be in power. So I ask you again, what has this government done for you? Every day we're maligned, we're plagued with, how do we pay our children tuition fee? How do we feed them? People go to work, they cannot come back home because they trek. Somebody works on the mainland and goes to the island and spends part of the journey includes trekking because you cannot afford to pay all the way your way through work to work. Salaries are paid, but it's not enough to fend them to travel to work Monday to Friday for 4 weeks. What a nation. And I ask you again, this APC government, is this the best we can do as a nation? What has this government done for Nigerians, apart from the level of hardship, multidimensional level of poverty? People are working on the road every day begging. They don't have money to eat, no money to feed their children. They cannot afford basic things anymore. Naira has no value. They're selling Coke in sachet now. They open a bottle, pour it inside sachet and sell it to people just because someone can afford to buy a full bottle of Coke or Fanta. Has this government lived up to the promises that it made when it was coming to power? This is 2 years into this administration, 10 years into the APC government. Nigeria is in another level of poverty that we've never experienced before. It doesn't matter what the likes of Ononuga or Buhala comes to say. We're in a level of poverty. And now, for those people who are always attacking other people online and saying, why are you criticizing government? That's what we should do as a people. We should criticize our government so they can sit up. The government that we currently have, or the government we've been plagued with in Nigeria, they've never worked for you and I. Yet they say we elected them. That's why I said they're planning on writing results. They're not planning on you. They know they don't need your votes to win election. As long as they can make sure that you don't come out of vote, they can write the election results the way they want it to be. And that's why you and I must make up our minds to come out during the 2027 election. You have to sensitize everybody around you. The kind of government we have is a very careless government. There is no country that is sane where people are being killed in your country. The president goes away and never bothers to show up. Not even the vice president, not even the Senate president. The kind of government we have is he called this Bola Tinubu government a government of desperate thieves. The level of corruption that we have seen in from our government is beyond alarming. How do you compare this government to the one of Buhari? How do you? Even as much as we know that corruption was rife all over to Buhari's administration, but this one, it's another level. Take Okonkwo, for example. This man was accused of stealing trillions of naira. Now he's defected to the APC for his sins to be forgiven. Can you imagine that? All of these defections you see from our politicians, it's not because they love Nigeria or their state. They're greed for power. That's what you're saying. Like Kenneth Okonkwo says, whether or not you agree with him, whether or not you believe, okay, he was in the APC before he went to Labour, he moved from Labour and joined the coalition, the truth still remains the truth. We all have to come out. We all have to start campaigning. We all have to sensitize other people. They will give you 20,000 naira to vote for them. And after that, they will disappear for another 4 years. But you will suffer if you take that money. They will employ people from amongst us to come and cause violence during election time. And if you do that for them, you will suffer after the election is over. For all of those people who committed electoral violences, for the people who turned off the server, for all of you guys who worked so desperately hard to bring in this government that has become a curse to Nigeria, how have you been feeling? When you look at your people, how have you been feeling? For those people who were part of those who stole election for APC in Plateau State, for example, when you look at what is happening in Bassa and all across Plateau State, the killings, are you happy? For the professor who stole election for this president, are you happy? When you look at the state of the nation, are you happy? Are you sleeping okay? For the policeman whose office was used to write election results after election voting was done, are you happy? For those guys who rewrote the election results and canceled them, when you look at those villages where they've killed so many people, are you happy? When you look at the state of the nation, for the peanut that you were given and what they're stealing, are you happy? This is the kind of decision you have to make. I understand they've put us in poverty so that when they give us every penny they give us, we're so happy, we'll take it. But you have to look at a long-term plan to your short-term pocket goal. That 20,000 naira, that 100,000, that 500,000 they gave you, what can it afford today? Don't be fooled by politicians. This government is not one that works with law and justice. Our nation deserves better. The belief that Bola Tinubu must win 2027 should be eradicated from our mindset. As a people, we must work hard, tirelessly hard. That's why I'm doing this content, to make sure that criminals like these people who are in government don't get to see power anymore. That's all they're involved in. That's what they care. The likes of Wike, that's all they care, power. That's all they care, theft. And we all have to do it together. It's not just me alone. It's all of us putting our hands together to make sure that people like this don't see power tomorrow. Don't wait until they destroy Nigeria. Don't wait until this violence gets to your villages or your communities. Don't wait. Especially those people in the rural area. Don't wait. Speak up. I know this content gets to everybody, a lot of people around the world. But speak up. Speak up. Tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your friends. They cannot afford to have a government like this that has nothing that it cares for the people. Nigeria is now governed by the worst of us. It's a government of desperate thieves. And like Kenneth Okonkwo says of Bola Tinubu's administration. It does not care. This administration does not care for anybody. Not you, not me, not of our children. It cares for itself and its own self-preservation. Again, if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. If you've been following us and you've not subscribed, let's do so. And also recommend this channel to others. We will continue to channel contents like this to make sure that we continue to sensitize Nigerians. We deserve better. Let's don't take 2027 for play or for a job. It is the fight for the soul of our country. God bless you. We'll catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.